What's going on, everyone? So this season for both Jeremy Sochan and the San Antonio Spurs kind of feels like a make or break season for him with the San Antonio Spurs, right? I don't think he's a guy that'll be out of the league or anything like that, but I think as far as his time with the Spurs, I think this is kind of his potential last season one way or another. Well, the San Antonio Spurs and Jeremy Sochan, per reports, failed to come to an agreement on a new contract extension. Jeremy Sochan is going into a contract year, right? There are a lot of questions this offseason about would they actually extend him, right? Are they going to be a team that just goes, hey, let's give Jeremy Sochan the money that he wants, needs, whatever, or are they going to kind of play this like, hey, let's kind of wait and see. Allow him to go to restricted free agency. We saw this past offseason several guys in restricted free agency and how kind of messy that could get. So I wouldn't be shocked this season if the Spurs end up trading Jeremy Sochan. Like, even if he's like plays well for them, I still could see them go, let's get off him. Because Jeremy Sochan wants like $20+ million, right? I don't think you can give it to him, right? Like, unless he just like magically shoots 40% from three-point range this season, which I just don't think he's going to make that significant of a strike. Could he be better from three? Sure. But Luke Kornet has been so good for this team, right? I think that that's going to continue to play good. And I wouldn't be shocked if at some point the Spurs just go, let's just start Wemby at the 4 and Kornet at the 5, or at least a good majority that ends up happening. So again, it's like, how long until Jeremy Sochan actually moves into the starting unit, if ever? Right. And again, you have several guys, Carter Bryant, or all these guys that can kind of come in and play the role of the 4 and stretch the floor and play some defense. Even Harrison Barnes you have that can do that. You have several guys that can play that position, play that role. Or if you want to get somebody like taller or bigger, 6'10" guy, something, go trade for like a Lauri Markkanen or something like that. There's a lot of options. They trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo to pair with Victor Wembanyama. There we go. Right. Like, there's a lot of things and directions that the Spurs can go down with Jeremy Sochan, the starting 4, so on and so forth. And you have these two camps whenever I talk about Jeremy Sochan. You get one camp that thinks like he is, the second coming of Dennis Rodman, the greatest player ever, move over Tim Duncan, Jeremy Sochan's here. And then you get people that are like, he's absolute dog water, right? Like the guy, like, get him off our team, trade him for a bag of chips. I don't think it's either. I think he's a good player with tons of upside, still incredibly young, right? Plenty of potential. And to be fair to him, the Spurs haven't really put him in the best position to have success. I mean, they've had him all over the place. They tried the point Sochan, where they basically made him the point guard. Like he hasn't had like this is your role and this is what you're going to play night in and night out. Right? But the Spurs also might not need him to play that role. Yes, his defensive versatility is huge, very warranted. Spurs, Brian Wright himself even said that he wants this team to be, one of the best, if not the best defensive team in all of basketball, create that defensive identity, all of that. I get all of that. I do, right? But at the end of the day, right, you need to do what's best for your team. You need to do what's best for you financially with the new CBA. CBA changes everything, right? Wemby's going into a contract year next year, right? Then you're going to have Stephon Castle. Then you have Dylan Harper, Carter Bryant, all these guys. Like, you're going to have to start paying guys here, right? Like, so my point is, like, there could be a point where you might have 4 guys making $30+ million. And what, you're going to pay Jeremy Sochan to come off the bench and and pay him 20? It doesn't make sense. I don't know if like Jeremy Sochan is the guy that fits for this team. I just think you're better off at this point finding the right team that values him enough to where you could get some, a quality package together. Or you wait to sign and trade him, right? Like, because the other kind of argument to that coin, right? Jeremy Sochan is so cheap right now. What are you really going to get? Right? Like, you're looking for either a veteran player that's like almost essentially on a vet minimum, or you're looking for another young guy that has a similar salary. Like, yeah, the Spurs, they could take on some salary, but like, you're not trading him straight up for, a $20 million guy, right? Like, so again, Jeremy Sohan's also so cheap that it's like, how are you going to get true value for him, right? So if you're the Spurs, you're almost better off waiting till the offseason, right? And then seeing what his market is, right? Because yes, his market might not be 20 million, but what if it's like 15? Or you find a team that's willing to pay 18, and now you can get $18 million in value back, right? So now maybe you can get a veteran guy that actually does make sense for you. And it's like, man, this guy would be great in the rotation, kind of help with our young team, whatever. Or, you get through the season, you're going to have certain things that kind of rise to the top, right? That are just like, man, we really need this for this team, right? Or whatever. Or, hey, these guys just don't work. They need, whatever it is, right? There's going to be the good and bad that kind of rises to the top. So to me, do you kind of wait to see and then try to get the most value out of Sochan come the offseason? The problem is you still have to pay or still have to play him, and you have to play him enough to where it makes sense for those teams to now give you that value. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you just kind of like play Sochan spot minutes or like 15 minutes a night or something like that, again, it's like, dude, he couldn't even make your rotation. Like, he was bottom of the barrel in your rotation. You want us to give you 2 firsts or something like that? Like, you're crazy, right? So again, it's going to be that balancing act. I don't want to put Jeremy Sochan in a box. Like, I don't want to downplay it. Like, I don't know. Maybe he does become everything. Like, he is a serviceable 3-point shot. I'm not even talking about elite. Like, he is a serviceable 3-point shot away from being really good for this team and being like, okay, maybe now we should start him, right? Like, but the problem is he's just not very good offensively. He's a liability offensively. And people try to justify it by like, oh, but he's such a good defender, versatile defender, and rebounder and all that stuff. Yes, it's great, but you need two-way guys, especially in your starting lineup. Now, if Jeremy Sochan is okay with $10 million a year, maybe $12 million a year, right? If he's like, hey, do 4 years, $40 million, or 4 years, $48 million, sure, sign him, keep him, even if he's just a bench guy in the rotation, no problem. But he's a guy that wants, $20 plus million, just not worth it at that point, right? Like, you're paying him $20 million in the hopes that he becomes the player that you want, rather than just cut your loss or trade him, get whatever value you can for him, and then either find that guy that does give you what you want immediately, or, try again with like a Carter Bryant or something, and this time do it correctly. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.